Hello, everyone. This is week number 4 for the podcast, still untitled. We're going to have a podcast conversation one day where we discuss the title for the podcast. But as for today, it's still untitled. Everything's good here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Like Prince when he got mad.
The podcast formerly known as
Untitled.
All right. But everything's good here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We got the usuals. We got Jay.
Hey, what up? What up, peoples? How you doing?
We got Tyrone.
What's going on, everybody?
And we have myself. And it's an interesting week going on in the world. But what we're going to do this week is pick a couple of topics and have a good conversation. Oh, and just to let y'all know that in a future podcast, we're going to have it's going to be videoed, and also soon, very, very soon, we're going to have a debate between W.E.W S and Booker T. Washington. So get ready for that.
See our pretty faces.
You see my pretty face.
We gotta get some makeup people and all that going on.
So this week we're going to start off with a conversation that Jay was just talking about as far as the Wakanda effect. How that's something I just termed just now, so I'm copyrighted, but the Wakanda effect, where African Americans, which is a term that I don't like because it's been brought to my attention recently through my mama that African American was a term coined by 5 black people, and Jesse Jackson was one of them, is a marketing scheme. But when black people from America want to associate more with Africans, but that's where we're gonna start off today. So, Jay, what you got?
Ooh, fascinating.
It just seems like I've been thinking about this ever since I've seen the movie. I've seen the movie twice. And
Twice?
Yeah, I did. I saw it with my grandma. I took her. She enjoyed it, by the way, loved it. But what was a reoccurring effect in the movie was what is a reality in society today in terms of the relationship between Africans who are pure Africans and African Americans, and that movie.
So are we dirty?
What you mean? Yeah. I'm about as pretty as you can get.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing that I'm curious to understand is we have some kind of connection to Africa. We acknowledge Africa, but in terms of
some of us.
I acknowledge Africa.
I do too. I got a lot of love for Africa.
I do too. I do. I mean, the shirt you have on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, but
stay repping.
We can't say that the relationship is mutual, and that's the $1 million question. I'm curious to why is it that it seems that not all African Americans, but a good number probably are open to embracing their heritage, but when it comes to, when I say heritage, I'm talking about the motherland. But when it comes to kind of embracing or improving our relationship with the people of Africa, it's like, nah, we ain't really feeling that. You know,
who's not feeling
it? It doesn't appear that Africans are
how many Africans you know, man?
My brother-in-law. And my
see
brother-in-law.
this guy, man. Now we know all Africans.
Oh yeah.
No. But I teach African kids. I
do too.
I watch documentaries. I'm not casting.
I understand,
you know what
I understand what you mean. But one thing that you can take into consideration is Africa is a continent.
Thank you.
And since Africa is a continent, that's very similar to all the people of South America.
The biggest continent, not even a continent.
Biggest by far. And it's like that's like all the people. Because I'm pretty sure if you go to Africa, which I've never been before, which I want to go one day.
I have.
You should go.
Like if I go to Africa, I'm pretty sure the culture of South Africa is not going to be the same culture of Nigeria, and it's just like, and as far as African Americans, also known as black people in America, we all have the same culture because we all went through the same experiences in one country.
Right.
So, and even though right now we're trying to reconnect with the culture of Africa, which is a lot better than the culture of black Americans, because in black American culture, in just in my opinion, we're like cutthroat. We're a lot of crab in the barrel mentality. We have a lot of one bad apple spoils the bunch.
So we're Americans, man. Americans are a cutthroat country.
I know. I mean, so
yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's
but
what we've learned.
But case in point from the movie, all right. So when the particular scene, this is what really made me think about it, because when when T'Challa was talking to his father, trying to figure out why did you leave Killmonger abandoned after you killed his father, and basically what T'Chaka said, hey, I had to look out for my country, my kingdom, and T'Challa was saying like, look, that doesn't matter, he's still blood.
But is there anything wrong with that though? I mean, because like I'm playing devil's advocate, of course, but like if my house is fine, if I got a nice yard, if I got a nice security system, if I got the ring system on my door, you knock on my door, I see you before you come. Why should I let you into my house, not knowing what you're gonna do once you get in my house, and my house is straight? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it, but you saw what happened. You abandoned him, and you saw he got in the house. So that's the disconnect I'm talking about. Is it because he's not full African? I have nephews that are half African. So
what is half African?
Their father is pure African.
One thing we got to get away from, like this in my opinion, one thing we got to get away from is the whole labels, because like Africa is like I say is a continent in of itself. So like if you take my complexion, your complexion, Tyrone's complexion,
dark chocolate by the way,
whatever,
let the people know.
You take all our complexions, they're not saying okay, he's lighter, he's darker, he's what. We're all black. So I'm getting back to the whole black thing, because we got to stop labeling ourselves as African American. Because I'm pretty sure if you go to Africa, they're not calling themselves Nigerian African. They're not calling themselves, South African, whatever.
They separate by tribes.
Yeah, and so like if we're going to separate ourselves by something else other than a region that was placed on us by somebody else.
I just call myself human being, man.
But you're a black human being.
I am a black human being, dark chocolate, by the way. Just make sure.
You light skinned, Tyler. What you talking about? You light skinned.
My God, man. What? You offend me. My God. Nothing wrong being light skinned.
There's nothing wrong being light skinned, but my mama said that the black and red is sweeter juice.
But here's what I was gonna say. I think part of the thing is Africans know who they are. They have their history in terms of, when I say wherever they're from, whatever respective country they're from, they understand it, they know it, they have a civilized culture, they have their respective religions, faiths, and so forth. We have that too.
Yeah,
but when you talk about identity though, that's where you see.
Yeah, of course, our history is a little different. Yeah. But let me just say, I don't think that I don't buy the notion that most Africans are rejecting African Americans. One, it's a continent, and certain areas are going to be more accepting. I know for a fact that certain West African countries have programs where they try to get African Americans to move back.
Oh, I want to go back.
Oh, definitely.
And so that's definitely not true. Because of course, I'm sure you'll meet people that do feel different, but it's a continent, billions of people. So again, I just don't like label the whole like stereotyping groups, because especially because I know it's not true. Because I know Africans myself. I have one of my good friends from the military. Dawit is African, and he's always accepting, and is just completely opposite of what you're saying. So I mean, just to make that point, man.
And to not disagree, but I know what you understand. I understand what you mean, Jay, because being black in America, it seems we constantly, speaking from my own personal experience, I'm always looking for a connection so I can like live my life a different way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I want a connection. You know what I'm saying? I want to have this. Like for example, personally, like my brother married a girl from Uganda, and my wife's father is from Sierra Leone, and her mother's from Jamaica. It's just like, so technically my wife is not African American. Yeah. my sister-in-law is definitely not African American. Mm-hmm. And it's just like sometimes especially when I run for office, I went to some of the African meetings here in Charlotte, and it was Nigerians and other groups in Charlotte, and it was just like they wouldn't really welcome me, because like you walk to a black church, it's like come on in, let's feed you, let's sit you down, let's get to know you a little better. We walk into those places sometimes, and it's really because they don't know us. Yeah. So we walk in there, we walk in there expecting them like, I look like you, embrace me. They ain't embracing me. Why would they? Because like I'm pretty sure if like we all Americans, but I'm pretty sure if 6'4" white guy walking into your living room in the middle of the night was like, "Hey, let's hang out." You be like, "I don't know you."
Wait, middle of the night.
I mean, yeah,
you gotta
in the
get
middle of
shot.
the
If a 6 foot anything walks in my damn living room, middle of the night, you get your ass shot.
And I've been able to travel. I've traveled. I've talked with Africans. Went to overseas to South Africa. Was able to really, converse and these were Africans from South Africa, from Tanzania, from Zimbabwe, and my church has an exchange program where we go back to South Africa every so often and stuff like that. But also just having the experience having my sister married to my brother-in-law who
what country is from?
Sierra Leone, and then their connection with Nigerians and Liberians and all that other different things. To your point, I think that's where my sentiments come from. It seems like now Neville's sentiment, because I was family through marriage, I was more so welcome. But in other instances and situations I've experienced, it almost seemed like, yeah, you are a stranger.
You are.
Well, see, a lot of times I think from African perspective, it depends on where you're coming from. Are you coming from a respectful point, or you come because to be real about it, a lot of African Americans have this westernized view of Africa, and they insult Africans, and they
coming
think
to America.
Sometimes they think they're better than Africa. So if you're an African, sometimes you're gonna be standoffish, like, whoa, where you coming from? Is this coming from love? Is this coming from the bullshit that I know has been put out about Africa? So it's understandable. So because most Africans I talk to, when you come at them and you show that you understand and you respect, then okay, then the respect comes back. But of course it's like when you see somebody looks kind of like a redneck. I'm like, whoa, what we got here? And then they talk to me and it's like, oh, I'm not racist, I'm respectful. Oh, it's all good. Okay, we can be cool. We can be brothers. But
I agree.
It's first, it's like, whoa, where you coming from? So I think it just depends on how you come to that situation.
That's propaganda then, because some Africans, at least in my experience, have said in conversations that, you're not what we think. You're not what we thought y'all were. And when they said that, it was like,
yeah, it goes both ways. Yeah.
Because how we are portrayed, y'all don't care, y'all lazy, y'all don't care about education.
Well, if you look at our media, you would think that. So it brings back to a story I was talking to my wife about. I think a little while ago, when I was in Korea. I lived in Korea in military. I got on the subway and went across town in Seoul, where not many Americans are at. I'm on the subway. And a bunch of Koreans came up to me. I was the only black guy. It was me. I was hanging out with my buddies. I was the only black guy.
I can imagine.
And so they came up to me and like 2 or 3 people that asked me, they said, and they were genuine. They really were wondering. They were like, "Where's your chain?" And they're like, "Where's your the grill and stuff? Do you have?" They were looking at my teeth like, and they really
telling me your grill
because and this was a while ago. This was back in this was during that Cash Money was real big and all that. And so, but all they saw of black people in America mainly was like MTV, BET, Uncut, like just that's music crazy. and so it was that, and then they got off the train. This is a true story. Another group gets on the train. And then other than hit, and the Yankees were in Seoul in an exhibition, and so they were like, New York Yankee, are you New York? You play for the Yankees? And like it was like they thought I was and I was and I was in really good shape then too. So and they're like, well, I was in the military, and so they were like, oh, New York Yankee, and it was like 6 white guys there, said nothing to them, like it was just like. But me, it was like, oh, athlete. It's like, black guy gotta be athlete. So I got the rapper, the athlete. But that's in some places in the world.
Yeah, that's all they see.
That's all you see. And so they think that's reality. So they saw me, and I was dressed preppy. I was dressed like and they were like, they were looking at me like, what? You're out of uniform. You're out of uniform. Like that's not what we see you do. So it's understandable. Like that's what people see. And, when I was growing up in Africa, before, my family is pretty well read. But you grew up, you saw Feed the Children, you saw starving, skinny people, and then you go to Africa. When I got a chance to go, you see modern cities. You see
so many times, and I history, just growing up in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, that's what we see, we see a little white lady on TV talking about feed the children for 25 cents a day.
Yeah.
And we talk about, but then like, if you approach Africans lots of times with the whole mentality, I'm going to help you, like, that's the same mentality as a white guy coming to you and being like, you mind if I say the N-word? You know what I'm saying?
It's patronizing.
Yeah, no, don't approach you like that. And like one thing that, as you saying, and as you just give example to, about being Cash Money and a New York Yankee, we as Black Americans have a unique opportunity to create our own Wakanda civilization, our own culture. Because since our culture was taken away from us, what we were given is a blank sheet of paper to create whatever we want to create. So if we want to be a Wakanda in America, if we want to have that, emphasis on education, emphasis on family. If we could do that if we want to, but we have become so Americanized to the point where we just want that paycheck, and after we get that paycheck, oh, I'm not going to help you. I got mine. You get yours.
Right.
That's mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I got mine. You get yours. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because we live we're capitalists, man. That's what capitalism is. I mean, I'm not against capitalism, but that's what it is. It's kind of savage. It's like, hey, I gotta get mine, and that's how
I got mine.
I mean, that's our society we live in. We live in a capitalist society. We live in a more aggressive. It's always been a very aggressive society. So how did it start? Kicking people's ass and taking land from people. Yep. Like if you want something in America, you
steal it. Just steal it.
Hey, you want a country? Hey, Indians are there. You gotta go. Yeah, bang bang.
Get it.
Hey, I need these crops grown. Hey, go get these brown people and work this land for free.
The brown people
Let's
can't
go.
do it. The brown people died off the disease.
Get the black people do it. And it's just what it is. It's how. So that's why we're like that. But our culture's been dope. Like, we're the hot sauce of America, man. Like we're the flavor of America. You don't get Elvis without black people. You don't get rock and roll without black people.
But based off that right there, we are the flavor. Is it a way that we can take our flavor and put it into a nice package, so everything that is black culture, it can be black culture, because I and export that out to the world, because so much of, because when we think of Asian culture, we think about karate, kung fu, you know what I'm saying? We think of Russian culture, we think of spies. We think of African culture, we think of Zulu, you know what I'm saying? Is there a way to package black culture and export that out to the world and have a filtration system, so we're not looking like fools to some people?
I think now,
or do we want to do that?
I think it's easier now. There's more modes of media. It's more ways of getting information out than before. So I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the future. I don't know what. But,
thank you, sir.
Okay, I get some injera.
Yeah.
And I'm grabbing on some Doro White. Speaking of Africa, Northeast African, Ethiopian, Eritrean food.
I got me some lamb tips.
Red Sea, baby. Red Sea in Charlotte. If you're in Charlotte, you gotta get here.
Oh yeah.
They don't even pay us for that. Fuck that. We just eat Ethiopian food. If we getting there, they're gonna have to pay us for another compliment. We need sponsors.
And we do. If you're a sponsor, hit us up. But that's kind of my point. Like, we as Black Americans have an opportunity to actually export our culture. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So instead of keep saying Wakanda, we could come with our own name. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or just practice what we're trying to preach.
But what I guess for me, what I saw, what I would like to see, what I don't want to put it. Black Panther was able to bring a throwback. It was able to bring a throwback of both how unified African Americans and both Africans could be when together. And so for me, I'm just curious as to, is there any ways, it don't have to be full-fledged immersion.
Oh yes.
But is there another way that we can still find some way to honor our heritage, whether it's just from a holistic standpoint, while at the same time still packaging that culture of who we are here in America?
I mean, one way I see doing that is just practicing what you preach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like if you want to be more Wakandan in your actions, you be more Wakandan in your actions.
Be the change you want to see.
Yeah, because like, just go out there and teach a kid, give a kid a book. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I remember one time I went to this affluent African American in society, in Charlotte.
Was it Oprah?
Nah, that wasn't Oprah. But I went to him and it was like, hey, I want to make a change. I want to make a change in our communities and our culture. What I'd like to do is let's go buy suits for these young black men, because lots of times any of them wear a suit is to their funeral.
Yeah.
So let's go out there and let's buy them a suit. And I'm pretty sure if I buy a suit, I get my friends buy suits for these African American males, so they can wear a suit to school on a random Friday and just take over the system. You know what he said to me? You should reach out to the 100 black men of Charlotte. No, brother. I went to you. If I go to you and ask you for assistance, don't direct me someplace else. So what I said to him was like, we're not on the same page, because I'm want to make a change today. Don't direct me to somebody else.
That's right. Happens a lot, man.
Yeah. I want to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But I go to you, and your response is, "Why don't you contact the 100 black men in Charlotte? Why don't you contact the Black Chamber?" No. So I know that you're fake, and I don't deal with fake.
I had an experience with a guy, one of my many Facebook battles, and one of my Hotep guys who was he was kind of hating, and he was telling me how to be black, which again I hate, because you can't tell me how to be black.
I can.
But he was like, but I asked myself, what are you doing? What are you actually doing for the community? He was telling me all this and that, but now I said, now I invited him to come out. I said, well, actually come out and help at an event that I was helping with, and it got real quiet. Crickets started chirping, everything got real quiet. And I asked him, well, what are you actually doing? I said, well, maybe I can come help. Maybe you can help spread some knowledge to me that you love to try to do. Nothing. So I said, don't be I hate Facebook warriors, man. Just actually go out and do something. Yeah, I talk trash on social media, but I actually try to do stuff too. To your point, be a man of action or a woman of action. And I'm trying to do more of that this year. Actually be involved.
Yeah, because like the whole idea about the suits stuff, because that happened because like when what was it? It was like one of my former students came up to me one time and he was going on a job interview, and he needed a ride. So I was like, all right, cool, no problem. I'll give you a ride. But for me, I like be prepared. So what I did was I was like, let's do a dry run. Yeah. So I picked him up where he's gonna want to be picked up from, took him to the location. Dry run. I was like, so what you gonna wear? And he was like, well, I got this collared shirt and these cats. He's like, bro, you trying to get a real job? Let's wear a suit. You have a suit? Nah, bro, I ain't never got no suit. And I was like, oh crap! I grew up in a family where I wore a suit every Sunday and every other Wednesday for random stuff. So at that moment, I was like, you know what? I don't have any money. I don't have much money. I went to Goodwill, which is where I got a lot of my suits from growing up. Went to Goodwill, found a suit that fit him, then put it in cleaners for him. 24-hour, the quick turnaround cleaner told her
Goodwill
what was going on.
Goodwill is the spot, man.
And he wore a suit. And after he wore, when I picked him up from the thing, his mom saw him and she was like, I thought the only time I'll see you in a suit is at your funeral. And that was like, oh my gosh, that's deep. Now then when I hit up Black Power guy here in Charlotte and said, this years later, I was like, let's do something like that. And he directed me to somebody else. I realized at that moment that you are nothing but a mouthpiece for somebody else.
Yep.
And that's fine if that's what you want to be, but don't portray yourself as something greater than what you actually are.
Oh,
yeah. And I just had to get out of my chest. I do apologize, but yeah.
Hey, sometimes you gotta let them know, man. Get your ass up and actually do something. Stop talking all the time.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue in itself.
All right. For those on the world of YouTube, it's only been a couple seconds, but for us, it's been a couple minutes. Tyrone and I had to devour this delicious Ethiopian food.
Dora Watt, baby, that Dora Watt.
Had some lamb tips, delicious. So what we're going to do for the second part of the show, we're going to still talk about social issues and things of that nature. But one thing that I had an idea for is talk about the Bill of Rights. You could ask 9 out of 10 Americans with the Bill of Rights where they're going to take the first 2. That's about it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through the Bill of Rights and we're going to speak on them and just inform y'all just a little bit of what the Bill of Rights are, and we're going to have a little discussion on each one. All right, and we're going to start from the top down. Jay, would you mind reading just the highlighted part right there?
It's like school.
Oh, yes.
The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people.
What are y'all thoughts on that? This is the 10th Amendment. I think that lots of times, as far as that one goes, sometimes we as the people don't know our true power. For example, the thing I want to legalize is marijuana. Marijuana should be legalized for many reasons.
Ooh-wee.
And I mean, is not illegal. I mean, it's a what is it? Marijuana? It's class 1 drug or something like that.
Shit, I can't remember. I just know you get locked up if you sell it in some places. In North Carolina, you do.
I think you should be able to grow it. Anything you grow it yourself, I think you should be able to do it.
Oh, somebody's a pothead.
No, I'm not a pothead. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think if you grow something, or like, I mean, I'm gonna go a step even further. If you want to make meth in your backyard, make meth in your backyard just for yourself. Just for yourself. I mean, like, if you ain't selling it, if you ain't selling it to nobody else, if you want to kill yourself that way, kill yourself that way.
They be blowing up though. Those labs blow up. I don't know about that one. they be blowing shit up, and nobody's gonna use meth and follow a rule. Meth is not one of those. Meth isn't one. It's not some shit you like. Here, take some meth and follow this rule. Nah, you about to fuck up when you take meth. So I don't know about that one, bro. But you about to be selling hoes and nah, man. It's.
I'm just saying that as far as that one goes, as far as the 10th Amendment, which is pretty much if we don't cover it, it goes to the state. If the state don't cover it, it goes to the people. I think the people need to know the true power and start doing more. That's what I say about that.
So it's states' rights, basically.
Yeah. Because if it falls to the states, like, hey, let me do what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm with that. I get nervous when I think about history and states' rights, but I guess, I don't know. They kind of pulled that one, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we like to teach us how to treat our Negroes. I'm just thinking back.
Yeah.
Within reason. Let's say within reason.
Well, what's your thoughts, Jay?
Man, I mean, I just think people are ignorant. Like, it's like powers that are reserved to the states. Okay, what is that? All right, we can build our own roads. We can create our own district courts. We can. What does that really look like? I mean, and for the most part, the people that are in the General Assembly, they know what that looks like. But the common people don't really know what that looks like. They don't know, like you said, they don't know.
Nobody understands this shit.
Right.
People don't understand civics. That's part of the problem in America. People don't understand civics.
Right.
So motherfuckers can come and lie to you and tell you all kinds of dumb stuff, and you believe it. So.
I mean, that's equivalent. That same thing is when people say it's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's just like somebody hand you something like it's in the Bible.
Yeah. So it's just like
we can have that topic.
Oh, that's a topic.
It's just tough.
Of the J and anti-J. Very soon.
People.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. The 9th Amendment. All right. The 9th Amendment is the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people.
Well, enumeration of the powers given to the federal government. So those powers that are given to the federal government should not in any way or form or fashion impede on those rights to the people.
So you saying I should grow what I want to in my backyard and nobody should say nothing to me, right?
No. Notice what we're saying. No, see, you're being funny. No. That ain't what that means.
Good luck with that.
So, the power, enumeration powers, those are powers delegated to the federal government. What was that? To wage war, to sign treaties, to borrow money, to levy taxes. Those elements and the many other thousands of other different, duties and responsibilities that the federal government has, those things should not impede. Case in point.
I mean, like the one main one that comes up. I'm check for those on YouTube. I'm looking at Wikipedia, and one of the cases that come up under this one is Roe versus Wade, and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. So I'm assuming one of those the rights that are not there. You can do what you want to with your body.
Mm-hmm. Which is.
We talked about that last time a little bit.
I mean, yeah, you should be able to do whatever you want to do with your body. That don't make it right morally, but then again, we're talking about the same Constitution that did the same thing to slaves, because slaves is in the Constitution. So slaves,
it's in there.
Slaves were property; they were commodity. So, I get it, but if they wanted to use precedents, they should have maybe went back to Plessy versus Ferguson. Maybe with that, or even Dred Scott more so than anything in that regard. But
So is it a good amendment to keep or get rid of it?
You got to always protect yourself from the federal government.
Yeah. Let me keep it.
All right,
we don't pay it no mind, no way.
Yeah, we know, because it goes fun. Like I said, people know about the First Amendment or my Second Amendment. That's all they talk about. Or I'll plead the Fifth. They don't know what that means though.
Yeah, we keep that one.
All right, the Eighth Amendment: excessive bail should not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. I would say that America does not follow that because
the bail system.
Hell to no.
Oh man, that's the most corrupt system.
Oh man,
God.
Yo,
we fucked this one up.
Yeah, constantly. I mean,
it's crazy.
It goes by how much money you got, man.
Pay to play, because the DA in Charlotte, the new DA, the black guy, he get rid of the pay for play because what is it called? The deferred prosecution thing, where you have to pay the restitution to the people, even if you don't have the money. So like if you make the mistake of being born poor and you make another mistake of being in a situation where you steal something, then you have to pay the money that you stole. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. That's what you're gonna do.
But that's what you're crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing.
So the Eighth Amendment needs to be enforced.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go to the seventh. The seventh is in suits at common law where the value of controversy shall exceed $20. Okay, $20. The right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall otherwise be reassembled in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. I never knew that. I never read the Seventh Amendment before.
I never read it either.
Yeah, you got to at least sue for $20.
So you can't. So they say you can't sue for under $20.
Yeah.
Oh, we ain't got that problem in America no more. This is irrelevant.
Or the value of what you're seeking has to at least exceed $20.
You can erase this one. We good. We sue for big money now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it says this: the seventh is one of the few parts of the Bill of Rights not incorporated applies to states.
Yeah.
I never knew that one. All right, the Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy trial and public trial by impartial jury of the state and districts wherein the crime shall have been committed, which districts shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining the witness in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. So breaks down the speedy trial by impartial jury, to be informed by criminal charges, to confront a witness, to compel witness to appear in court, the assistance of counsel.
I don't know. I think we messed this.
We messed that one up too.
Yeah,
that was messed up.
We messed this one up so bad because, first of all, I have a problem with, why you need to interview jurors about what they believe in. I mean, I have a problem with that because you get to select who you want on that.
Of course, yeah.
And that's right there is
It's not impartial.
It's not being
Not
impartial.
impartial at all. No.
So that right there, I have a consistent problem.
Yeah, we had a lot of years of messing this one up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What do you feel about the Second Amendment?
Oh my goodness.
That's what it starts off with. All right, Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. This is Devil Milk speaking. I do apologize. How you going to take it, Jay?
Except in the cases arising in land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or pursuit of property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Oh, this joint right here is all fucked up.
Yo. So when people say plead the fifth, that's what they actually pleading.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's that red line? That red liner? That violates that already.
Yeah.
Because we know people don't get just compensation.
Oh no. Oh,
Man,
Not at all.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Sorry, America, you messed that one up too.
Yep.
And then we know with the death penalty, we've had several mishaps with the death penalty. Hey, look, and check it. It says, you shall not be tried for the same twice to be put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled. Now, look, if y'all messed up the needle and I don't die, that's it. Y'all got y'all one shot. That's it.
I mean, look,
They ain't gonna mess that needle
as
up.
crazy as it sounds, I'm against the death penalty. I mean, the reason I'm against the death penalty because I believe in torturing somebody versus in killing somebody. Killing is the easy way out.
So
Getting
you okay
medieval.
with waterboarding?
Hey, if I torture,
Pulling back people's toenails
hey,
and stuff.
do what you guys do to get to. I mean, like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, a life for a life, a head for a
That's
head.
no better.
That's
Torture.
good religion. Hey,
Torturing. Oh no! Don't kill me! No.
I mean, see, I'm not going to do what you want. You know what I'm saying? If you have the gumption to go out there and commit a crime, a heinous crime, to take a life, I'm not going to give you the easy way out.
So you like one of these people in these other countries that if you get caught stealing, like let's say,
Chop your
Chop
hand
on the
off.
hand off.
Chop your hand.
Chop your hand. You ain't gonna do it again.
Oh,
Hey, you're not gonna do it again.
Well, you know, Singapore has a very low crime rate because they fuck you up for everything you do. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if y'all were older. Y'all younger than mine. I remember
The dude got paddled.
Yeah, you got.
Oh, yeah.
Not paddle.
He got
Cane.
Oh yeah,
That's
cane.
a
Yeah,
big ass
yeah.
difference. When you get cane, your flesh flies all over the place, and it ain't paddle. Yeah, so he learned his lesson.
But see, like, I have no problem with that.
And just like the guy who went to North Korea and stole a banner. Bro, you in North Korea where everybody's watched. You gonna steal a banner?
Yeah, that was stupid.
They fucked him up and sent him back home half dead.
Yeah,
Then
he died like a couple days later. Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
I mean,
See, that punishment didn't justify the crime.
but it's only white people that be doing that dumb shit. That's dumb.
let's not be racist.
That's racist to say. That's racist.
I mean, come on now.
I mean, but I will say there are some black crimes and there are some white crimes.
Yeah, that's true. But think about it.
I mean-
who are the people that's always getting bit by sharks? Who?
I mean, Mr. J.
Come on now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'm never going to get bit by a shark unless he jumps his ass out the water and gets in that chlorine. But I can't say that. I don't know.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna go that far.
I'll just.
Hey, look.
All I'll say is look at the news reports.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying we're innocent of anything, but the most ridiculous crimes, usually them.
Okay. Because like I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second.
I don't.
See, I'm not because this is a slippery slope you're going down, Jay. Because
Yeah,
our listeners are white, black, Hispanic, Asian, African, South American, but I see what you're saying. Like certain crimes are associated with certain races.
Well, some things are just cultural, and they're gonna,
So you telling me bestiality is a cultural?
And,
I don't know any white people that do
a
bestiality.
black dude in South Carolina was making
Yeah.
love to a horse.
I'm just going off.
You go extreme bestiality. What the hell?
I mean, because every time it comes up,
Where are you at? Where that comes up a lot.
It be on
I
CNN,
never hear about
NBC.
bestiality. What the hell? Where you be at?
It be on the news feed, man. Like, but then again,
What?
you know,
Beastia-
did y'all see the guy? Now this was dumb. Now I give it to us. The young man that jumped off the rail at Atlanta airport and seriously injured himself. Oh man.
Nah.
I ain't
Yo,
see that.
he swung up and it was a brother.
I think we're all equal in stupidity. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
all races of people are equal in stupidity.
Well, bestiality, Jay.
Damn,
took me for a loop.
bestiality.
You took me for a loop.
They love animals, so why not?
Oh Jesus!
Jay, what is going on in your life where you hate people that much?
No, but I'm just saying, in my experience, when you get these bestiality things, it's always one of them.
It just sounds like you're seeing a lot of bestiality. Like what?
No,
Are you watching those special movies or whatever?
Nah, but I understand that, you know, watching Animal Planet, that they have a kinship with animals.
There's no bestiality on Animal Planet.
No, it's not.
What kind of Animal Planet you watching?
But these chicks be
Animal
wanting,
Planet After Dark.
these chicks be wanting to get done up by the horses and dudes be having sex with the dogs.
How did we get here? What is going on?
We're on the Fifth Amendment.
Jay is watching Animal Planet After Dark uncut. Animal Planet uncut.
Oh,
Man.
yo. All right, so
The horse edition. Jesus,
Fourth Amendment.
turn that shit off.
The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
Stay out my stuff.
That's being broken every time because I should be able to grow what I want to in my backyard, right? I agree.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what some of my students asked. If they went in for a search warrant for illegal weapons and they find drugs, can that be included in the search warrant?
In the search, I mean, I'm not a legal expert at all, so I can't really answer that.
I'm not a legal expert. I think I know that I'm black and I'll go to jail. They found drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
So just
that.
do right because you never
So I'm
know.
going to say you're going to jail if they find drugs.
Or-
And if the search is
or-
illegal, you're
or-
going to have to get a lawyer and
Or vice versa.
you're going to have to pay a bunch of money because the fucking bail is going to be
Excessive.
outrageous.
Yes.
And you're going to be in jail even
You
if
can
you're
be
innocent or
judged
not.
by-
Or flip it. Let's say you had legit weapons in there, and then they found some weed and stuff.
Your black ass is going to jail, and you're going to pay a very expensive bond.
That's funny.
Come on, we know how this works. I'm not a legal expert, but I do know how that works.
All right, so in the Third Amendment,
No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law.
We pretty near that. They keep that one up. That doesn't happen.
yeah, it doesn't happen, but does it need to be changed?
Why?
I don't know. Like no soldier shall in time of peace recorded in any
No.
house.
Nah. Because I know one of my friends who was from Palestine. He's Palestinian. He talked about how Israeli soldiers would always, they treat them like blacks in apartheid. They would take their houses over. They said one time the Israeli army came in and just kicked them all out of their house. They said, "Where do we go?" And they said, "We don't give a fuck." And they took over the house for like a couple of months, just because they could. So yeah, I don't want that to happen in America. That's
That's a
that
reasonable
grimy,
application of the third. Yeah.
that's that grimy treatment.
All right, so we get into the Second Amendment, which everyone should know because everybody, like all the people in the NRA, they quote it all the time.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. See, I have a problem with this.
I do too. I do too.
What? The first thing
I got a problem with it.
it's not the bear arms, but the part I have a
Un-American
problem
bastards.
is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Now, militia is basically a security force for the state. That cannot happen because our militia is also a federal organization too.
National Guard.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it serves a dual purpose.
Been a member before.
But if stuff hits the fan, they're not going to secure the state. They're going to secure what the federal government tells them to
Oh yeah,
secure.
they're gonna. It's got to be something really bad happening. It's got to be really bad if they just say, "Screw the government, we're gonna roll with the state." That's that old school Fort Sumter stuff there.
Oh yeah.
We don't want to go back to that.
The right.
But there is one thing that I think is silly.
Arms.
When they a lot of people say they need to bear arms in case they have to defend themselves against the government, and I hate to tell you that AR-15 ain't gonna help your ass when 82nd Airborne come for you. And that Predator drone, the AR-15, you ain't gonna see it coming, buddy. So I don't know.
I believe
that doesn't hold water with me.
I believe people should have as many weapons as they feel.
Oh yeah, you have as many as you feel, but just understand you ain't gonna defend yourself against the government. You might defend yourself against some guy breaking in your house, but the government, nah. So I had an argument with a guy. He was like, we could beat the government. We could do like guerrilla war. I don't think
You're
so.
not gonna win.
Yeah.
You're not gonna win that one.
All right, so that was Second Amendment, and we come to the First Amendment. Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of free speech or the press or the right of people to peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
This is bullshit too.
Why is it bullshit?
Because you can't even crack jokes without getting reported. Like us. You remember that story you told me years ago when you was overseas and somebody when y'all was overseas?
I got a lot of stories.
This particular story you had said that it was a group of y'all that it wasn't you per se, but somebody in the group that cracked a joke.
Oh, you mean when I was in? Yeah, but that wasn't the government. That was
still got in trouble.
Yeah, but this is they're talking about the. So you talking about free speech? Free speech people don't get is the government cracking down on you. There's nothing saying society or your employer can't crack down on you. It's not in there. This is saying it's just like when I was in Thailand. I remember we got a briefing saying, "Don't insult the monarchy. You'll get in trouble." That's the government saying. It's like if we were doing this podcast and we were like, "Man, fuck Trump," and somebody heard it and they're like, Secret Service came and got you. Oh, you talking shit about the president? That doesn't happen. But now, if I say something racist, and the school system hears it, boom. That's not the government. And society. You know, of course, you say something. You know, depending on where your society's at, you can get in trouble. So people don't understand a lot. I keep seeing not free speech. No, long as the government didn't kick down your door and come get you for what you said or fine you for what you said, it's not a free speech
You're
issue.
liable.
Yeah, you're liable.
But look at the bakers in Colorado when they didn't want to serve the homeless. When they didn't want to serve them that cake for that gay wedding. And ultimately that got taken up, and I think it's still even the state is still going through the court system right now. But
nobody arrested them or locked them up for that. It was
that fell under what amendment was that? Where you can sue somebody under $20?
Yeah,
that fell under that. So that's a grievance more than $20 that could be taken up in the courts.
But here's the thing: their argument is, look, I don't have a problem serving cake. But if serving the cake infringes on my personal religious belief, what they were using,
that doesn't apply to the First Amendment.
Their religious their beliefs weren't infringed.
Because
they can still go to church, say hallelujah all they want.
But here's the thing:
they
the
can
state
do whatever you want.
The state said if they don't serve them, you're gonna they shut their business down.
No, because let's go back to the Seventh Amendment. In suits in common law, where the value of the controversy sale exceeds $20, which I'm pretty sure a wedding cake will be more than $20. The right of the trial by jury should be preserved.
But they didn't go to jury. The state just said, look, if you don't,
yeah, because it goes back to discrimination. It's like you can't say, oh, I don't believe in interracial marriage. So interracial couple comes in, I can't serve them because of my religious beliefs. We're gonna call bullshit on that. And
how can you prove it? Because if that's my personal belief, and are we going to
ignore your religious beliefs?
But we just arguing.
Praise God all you want, but don't screw other people over.
But that don't mean I got to agree with that.
That's not First Amendment. That's not First Amendment.
What is that?
That's not First Amendment.
How is that?
Okay, check it out. All right, back to the First Amendment says the second.
We learned today.
I know, right? Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion. So, like, Congress doesn't make any law dealing with religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Yeah. So if you have a business, do what your business is supposed to do. That doesn't say anything about discriminating against somebody based off your religion. It says you can do whatever you want to do. But if you have a business, I can sue you based off the 7th Amendment. Whatever I want to.
What I'm saying,
you can't discriminate against people based on some religious stuff. You know, I know a lot of people are Christians and their religion. They think everybody should follow that because, of course, you know, Christianity in itself, it has to be kind of arrogant because you're saying that my God is better than your God. It's not. It's real and yours isn't. I mean, and that's just the nature of it. But everybody's not a Christian, so you can't. You know, you can't go around discriminating against people because they did something that goes against your beliefs.
But could a Muslim sue a private Christian school because they deny them access? No, they can't. Because that's too confusing.
I'm pretty sure,
yes, you can sue any. This is America.
I mean, of course, what I'm saying.
But why would you? $20 is the limit.
But why would you? I mean, you're trying to get into a Christian school, but you're a Muslim. That's direct. That's directly. That's
not necessarily because if I want y'all to have good education,
it might be a great school.
Yeah, if there's a good school down the street, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Let me tell you why they would lose. Because case in point, Men's Augusta National.
Well, private schools, you can pick who you want to pick that day. That's established.
Well,
that's not even a real issue.
If I have my business and my business has a religious thing to it, like
and that store didn't even have a religious. It was just
it was a bakery. Yeah,
it was just a bakery. It wasn't a Christian bakery.
I mean,
it wasn't Jim Bob's religious Christian bakery. It was just a bakery.
But they just didn't agree with the lifestyle. But see,
get
issue,
over that shit.
The issue
I hate that shit, man. Like I agree with your lifestyle, so fuck you. No, man, just serve the people and move on. Nobody's infringing on that person's religion. Look, nobody's keeping that person from being a Christian. If I don't want to be
at your wedding,
then don't go.
No, but that's part of the reason they would have had to cater at their wedding ceremony. They didn't want to do that.
They had to bake a cake. They didn't cater it.
It was baking a cake. It was
baking a cake.
No.
I read the story.
And there was another one too. Then.
Well, no, look,
actually,
the one about the cake is them baking the cake.
It's the pizza in Indiana. That's what it was. The catering a wedding, and they was ordering pizza, and they wanted them to cater that, and they shut their business down. Because I remember when they shut that business down, then people start giving to them to get their business or to start a new business. Oh, that was with Indiana because that was a lot of controversy.
That's when Mike Pence he changed the law where you could discriminate against people, and because he hates gay people.
Because I remember one time I might have said this before, but I remember one time I was approached by a friend of mine to do a video for him and his boyfriend as far as their anniversary.
Right.
And I mean, at first, like I'm a straight male, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when somebody approached me with that, I was like, am I supposed to do this? Is this right? But then I went to my sister. Yeah, I talked to my sister about it. She was like,
secure.
If you are an artist, if you are good at what you do, it doesn't matter what the person that you're doing it for thinks. It's about what you think about the product you're putting out. It doesn't matter if it's for a gay couple, a lesbian couple, or any kind of couple out there. If you provide a service, your job is to provide that service. Your personal opinion should not come.
Most of the time, all these hardcore anti-gay people are fighting being gay, and it makes them mad. Yeah. They see gay. Oh God, it's that thing I'm struggling with. Oh, it makes me mad. Ooh, because I'm gay, and it makes me angry about it. Cause you always hear about it. The most anti-gay people get caught with some scandal, get caught in a hotel with a boy, and they was giving some fiery sermon about how the gays are horrible and going to hell.
Then they get a BS response. Well, I'm dealing with my I'm talking to my pastor about it, and we're gonna walk through this. Yeah.
Go ahead,
just be who you are. Yeah.
Stop hating people for.
I mean,
if that person's going to go to hell and burn, let it be between them and God.
Yeah, because
God's way better at judging people than I am.
I'm just saying, I'm not going. I mean, would I still sell you the food or whatever? Yeah, but I'm not going to cater. I will have some of my people come out there, but I'm not going to personally be there.
What's wrong? So you feel being gay is contagious?
No, it ain't that. No.
I'm gonna catch it.
No,
like, ooh, you're so masculine.
It's more of a personal thing. I feel with. I feel more weight from God on that. Not that I would still sell the product. That's not the problem. But if you're asking me to attend the ceremony,
so how do you?
I'm 34.
34. Let's say you had a friend for the last 30 years, came to you and said, Jay, we've been through so much together for the last 30 years. I love you like a brother. Matter of fact, you are the only brother that I have in my life. I'm getting married next week, and I'm getting married to a man. So you say you wouldn't go?
I wouldn't say that, but it'll be heavy. It'll be a heavy thought.
Would you remain friends with the person?
Yeah, I would still remain. I got a gay frat brother. I mean,
What if God says you not to?
And if God says not to, then I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, if that's what He says, if you ask me if that's what I say,
do you think God would tell you not to? I'm just curious. I'm just wanting to know.
I mean, God says this. God says love one another as each other. But He also didn't
Why
say.
can't you sell them a cake then?
But He also said.
I said sell them a cake, and I mean.
But He said you don't have to hang out with people that are different, contrary to your lifestyle. But that don't mean you can't love them any differently. Like, I love people in my family. I know some people in my family are trifling. So what I do, that don't mean I love them any worse or any less than the next man. But that don't mean I got to be around them because I know who they are.
So like you now based off that right there. Now I heard this example somewhere before. All right, you got two males. One married for last 15 years. Mm-hmm. Married for 15 years. Have sex with a different woman every other Thursday when he goes on a business trip.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
he cheats on his wife.
That hypocrisy is crazy.
Constantly. Mm-hmm. But he's married. Yep. He has a kid and a dog, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got this other guy being with the same person for the last 20 years, never cheated on them not once, goes to church every single Sunday, pays the tithe offering, does community service, but he happens to be married to a man.
They both wrong. They're both wrong.
Okay.
I mean,
I beg to differ.
No. I'm just saying. If you're looking at it from God's perspective,
you can't look at it from God's perspective because you're a man.
I'm looking at it from the Bible. The Bible doesn't acknowledge that lifestyle like that. I'm not judging him. Would I still love him as a family member? Yes.
He's not your family.
He's my family friend. Whatever. Would I still love him? Would I still care about him? I would be on him just as much about. Not agreeing with that, not trying to, hate on him. So just as much as I'll be on my friend, man, you need to cut that mess out. You're wrong.
So you had
it's no different. I mean, because they're both wrong.
Okay. Like that's your opinion. Like I'm not. So you had these two guys run for president. Those same two guys. Would you vote? Would your
you already know.
No. I'm just asking the question. I'm asking questions.
You know what? I'm gonna plead the fifth on this.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
No, Ty, you ain't slick. No. You gonna ask who I would vote for?
Yeah, like based off because right now we have a philanderer in the White House.
I wouldn't vote for either one.
I mean, because
I could not vote for either one.
In the last election, we had a woman who was married to her husband for the last 30, 40 years, whatever. I mean, we don't know about her personal life. She cheated on him, but we know her husband cheated on her. And the other guy,
she did. I wonder if she had a side piece.
I mean, but
she should have.
I mean, like my frat brother who gay, man. Like, cool. I mean, it took it because he did some things that kind of.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about. So
I don't.
It took some time to get back to that place. Do I care about him? Do we communicate? We communicate.
He's
now.
cool. I know he's a cool guy. Yeah.
We communicate now, but
cool dude.
And I probably would go
Do
to
I know
him? I don't know. We'll talk online. We'll talk about it. But
I want to give a shout out so bad, but I'm not going to do it.
You ain't right.
I'm not going to do it.
He's cool, man. But I mean, it's just.
Is he out the closet?
Yeah, man. Everybody know. He got exposed.
I know in college he was.
Yeah.
He was in that closet locked up.
Yeah, but everybody knew. Everybody had their ideas, and he finally came out, and it was whatever. But. Nice guy. Part of my struggle is because he had came on to me at some point. I'm like, nah, dude, I don't get down like that. But that did not.
Remember that.
Like, I'm flattered, but no, thank you.
But I remember that story.
And then one of my other LBs said he did the same thing to him. Like, yo, man, like
he was testing the waters. You know what I'm saying?
I thought.
I don't get down like that. But
we can be brothers and lovers at the same time.
Here's the thing, man. Like.
This story would. Wow, that would be a great story to tell if you ever want to tell that story.
It's crazy. You was there, but
and I was not there. Like I was there hearing the story. I was not there.
But I mean, I would get on. We got a close friend that lusts. He's married and he lusts after all these women. Yo, man. Yo, I get on him.
No, I don't know nothing about that.
Who's the only one that be lusting on?
Slide down.
After some technical difficulties, we back.
Y'all funny.
No, but I understand what you're saying because like I had a frat brother that we had a classmate that came out. Classmate came out was like on Facebook and everything like that. Like, oh, so we clowned him. You know what I'm saying? Not because he was gay, because how he acted before, and everybody said he was gay. We're like, now you're finally admitting who you are. Now we laugh at you for lying to yourself all these years. That's what we were laughing about. Like, so then shortly after that, my frat brother said to me, he was like, hey, just let you know before you start clowning this dude too much, I'm gonna let you know that I'm gay also.
Word.
Oh yeah. So because
y'all knew what they knew what was coming. This was about to start clowning.
Because like all those years,
he lied to himself.
We were clowning the classmate not because he was gay, because he never said it, but we clowned him for how he acted and how
he tried to portray himself.
Yeah. I love so many women. No, you don't. Lie yourself. Stop lying.
Oh yeah, that's like, hey, what's the guy, the delivered guy?
I'm delivered.
Oh man, whenever I see that dude, cause he acts like he's straight now.
Yeah,
and he's like I was delivered from being gay, and he's just being gay as hell. And his mannerisms, I'm like, bro, I feel bad for the guy because I think about, cause I have empathy for people. I put myself in their position, and I just think about what if society was the opposite, and being gay was like the end thing, and being straight was like taboo.
Oh, you
and I was like in church, and people like, you need to get you a man, and you need to stop thinking about women. And I was like, oh gosh, I gotta find me a man to be with, and then I'm married to a dude, and then I'm like, and I'm pretending to be in love with a dude. Like I just empathize, and I'm having to sleep with a dude at night, and just to make somebody happy. So I want to kill myself too. Like I want to jump off a bridge. So I just have empathy, and I put myself in other people's position. Yeah. So I empathize with gay people. I'm like, this gotta be horrible to be like, oh, I'm because I'm a Christian, I gotta do this stuff that I like. I can't imagine being with a dude just to, oh man, God told me I could be with this dude, so I got. Bro, every day. Oh, I love you. We got this holy union. Oh man, that would be horrible.
Man, bro, I love
that's
you.
a nightmare.
That's
a nightmare, man. That's a nightmare.
No, I mean, cause like, let me finish up like to this right here. So like when he told me that, because he's like, let me know I'm like he was too, and I was like, okay, because I thought for a second, real quick in my mind, that's cool. You still helping me move next weekend. Because it didn't matter what he does behind closed doors does not affect my life at all. Look, you going through this, I got your back no matter what. Are you still going to help me do what you said you're going to do? Because if you're supposed to be my brother, you're supposed to be my friend, if you're supposed to be whatever you are in my life, what that person does behind closed doors should not affect you, unless you're sleeping with them too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I don't,
that was my response to it.
I let people should be able to love who they want to love, man. It's like the main people against gay marriage shit on their wives more than anybody, and don't care nothing about marriage.
But Todd, that's who America is. America is as hypocritical as any nation on this planet.
Yeah, America is hypocritical. Why should you be also?
Huh?
Why should you be hypocritical also?
Can't beat them.
No. That's terrible. But that don't mean. Look, that don't mean I don't have to. Just because your lifestyle is different from me. One, I don't really care about your lifestyle, so I don't need to know. That's one. Why do I need to know? Mm-hmm. Because, look, we all are heterosexual men, right? But we don't have to know that because we don't need to say nothing about it. It's just understood. But when you get into a place where...
But I do go in public and I hold hands with my wife. And,
you do things.
I kiss my wife in public, so a lot of times people will see that with a gay person. Oh, they're doing the same shit you do.
If I saw you and your wife kiss in public, like, why can't y'all go to a room and do that?
Now, I will say,
my wife, you know what I'm saying?
I will say I've seen like certain gay pride festivals or like parades, and it's just. I'm against some of it because it's sexual. Even if it was heterosexual, like if I'm walking down the street and I see heterosexual people being too sexual, I don't like that either. So it's not an anti-gay thing. It's just some things are just improper.
If my daughter says, "Hey, I want to go to the parade today," and it's an ally parade or whatever, I know, because real talk, I know I probably wouldn't take it to the parade because I know it's gonna be overly sexualized.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an anti anything. It's just,
it's just like
I don't want, I'm not
because one thing I am against is the over the sexualization of our society.
Yes,
that's what
me
I'm
too.
against. I mean, because I don't care if you're gay, straight, or bestiality. I don't want to see it.
I don't know about the bestiality. Look, I don't know. Leave your pets alone, man. Let your pets live, man. Hey, let Fido let Fido be a dog. Let him be a dog. Don't make him a lover.
No, but look, hey man, do your thing. I don't need to know what your lifestyle, but that don't mean I got to agree with it. And when people bring the Bible into it, man, like, look, man, like, I understand from this standpoint. The Bible says a lot. It is a lot. God, you're supposed to love one another and so forth, and you do that. But there's some things that you just don't have to accept. That don't mean be discriminatory. That don't mean be ugly. That don't mean be condescending. You still walk in love. I get that. Like my gay frat brother. Yo, I could have let that situation be like, man, the hell with you, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you ever. Just cuz. Oh, but after time, whatever, I moved on, forgiven, and we cool. But at the end of the day, that don't mean I still got to agree with his lifestyle.
You took it as a compliment and said, man, I'm hot to everybody.
Hey, when I was bartending,
if a gay dude hits on me, I'm like, boy, I am the.
When I used to bartend,
everybody loves me.
He know what I do, and I was like, you know what? I'm the shit. Flush. You know what I'm saying?
Sir,
hey, I know what I'm doing when I get home. Boy. It ain't him. So
I'm hot on all markets. Yeah.
All right, so we're past the hour mark, so we're gonna go and wrap it up. So I would like everybody to give like a final thought based off today's discussions. Tom, I'd like you to first, sir.
Well, love people. Don't hate on people. Have some empathy. Put yourself in their place. That's pretty much it, man. Just love everybody, man. Just love everybody. That's my thing.
Are you gonna go or you want me to go?
You go.
All right. My closing thought is going to be today is I'd like everybody to check out the pastor on YouTube at Alpha Street Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Howard John Wesley. He's a real good preacher. And one of his sermons he gave recently was about the woman who was going to be stoned. And when he talked about that,
she was about to get high.
Well, he's about to get stoned.
She was smoking weed.
No. She was sleeping with the married man. Yeah. So he was telling that story, and pretty much it was just like stoned the saints, and how like he started writing when Jesus started writing on the ground, everybody started walking away, and only person was there was a woman. So when you dealing with your issues, you deal with that and God. That's it. Nobody else will be in your business. And he also talked about in the same sermon. It's about when Peter chopped off the soldier's ear. Jesus didn't have a problem with the soldier because the soldier was doing his job. It's a problem of one of Jesus' followers carrying a sword. That was the problem. So
Second Amendment, right?
Hey, keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So my final thought is check out Howard John Wesley on YouTube. And two, any issues you have with yourself, deal with yourself. Don't push down on nobody else.
Hey, Jesus was such a liberal. My gosh.
Oh man. Man.
Hannity would hate that guy.
I don't know.
You know this Jesus character? I don't like him.
Oh my gosh. Well, just be kind. You don't. I mean, if you can't walk in love, that don't mean you can't be kind. But just be kind.
Even the gay people.
This guy. Be kind.
Be kind to your pets.
Be kind.
Not too kind.
Be kind
Stop
to
watching
your
that
people.
shit, Jay.
Whatever. Be kind after so many damn attempts, and just just do unto others as you'll have them do unto you, and try to be committed to that.
All right, that is this week's episode of currently the entitled podcast, but it's Out of the Blue and Stock Productions. Talk to y'all next week.
All right.